All right, I'm working on a 2016 MKX. My third brake light, upper rear brake light, doesn't work. Basically, really what happened is it got ripped off. I wasn't going to video this, but I think it's really necessary. So the whole spoiler has to come off here, which is a real job. Whoever designed this needs to build one more and drop dead. All this to replace a brake light. So you have to remove the upper spoiler, and there's 5 push locking plastic flanges, which we all know are a pain in the ass, and you can't get at them from the inside. But you know, pushes down and it snaps open in here, and you cannot get at them from the inside here very easily. You've got some small access holes, but it's basically pretty much impossible almost. You can do it. Again, it's hard work. You've got to use pliers, needle nose pliers, strip ties work good for cinching down on them and holding them in place, as long as you don't put them too tight. If you put them too tight, they spring off. But that works well to kind of hold them collapsed while you lift up on the spoiler. There's 5 or 6 of these, which are studs that come through with nuts on the end. Okay. They look like this. They look like this, and there's 5 of one here, one over here, up through here as well. You can see them. They're easy to get at. These are not a problem. Little funny tool. I use a deep nose. I think it was a 9/16 is what I used, and it came off pretty well. Yeah, 9/16. But what a bear. What an absolute bear getting this off. Need 2 people when you're actually trying to get it off. The key here, some of the keys are this little side piece. You need to take these 2 screws off here, right here, here, and then underneath there's two little bolts, micro bolts that hold this side piece on to the actual spoiler. You ain't getting it off without taking that off. That's really important. I spent at least probably 4 to 5 hours today working on this. I have to glue that back on there. So both sides, this needs to come off. 2 screws, 2 Phillips head screws, pull out. They're those cheap plastic ones. And then there's 2 metal small bolts that hold on to the plastic cover that's part of the spoiler. Okay. Now, having said that, let's go over to the spoiler here. A lot of those holes up top, here's the ones with the push pins, plastic pieces that are a mother from hell. And then here are the guides, and then these are the studs that you put the screws onto. And there's, you know, 1 stud, 1 push pin, and then in the middle, there's another stud, push pin, or push plastic pin, and then a stud for the nuts. Another 2 over here, another 1 and 2 over here. And then these are the side pieces I was telling you about that you have to take off. It's not coming off if you don't take off those side pieces. I spent a lot of time today working on this. So why did I already put the new one back on there? Here's the old one. So what happened is the light still worked. The red piece got ripped off. And you know how it got ripped off? Through a car wash. And I didn't notice till several days later when the piece was missing. And I'll tell you why it got ripped off. It seems like there's a little bit building imperfection here. But again, 2 weeks later, I realized my light was missing. And then I didn't think about it. Then I'm like, wait a second. When I went to that car wash, I heard a big noise. Looked around, didn't think much of it. And that's what happened. It came off in the car wash. Now, so when you're putting these on, this piece here, what happens is the one side doesn't fit flush, and this is a sharp needle point edge over here. It doesn't fit flush. It sticks out, and it hooks things. I mean, you can almost cut your finger on the edge of this red light here. So when you're going through the car wash, or even if you're washing, because I noticed it when I washed my car once, that it hooks things. So this has to be grounded down. So what I did with the new one is I put it back on there, and sure enough, it hung out again. It stuck out with a sharp edge. And so I knurled it down with this little Dremel. The hell is it? The Dremel here, little sanding wheel. I knurled it down a little bit. Of course, you don't want to go too far. You don't want to cut through where you're going to get moisture in there, but you're far from that with this edge. And now it's nice and flush. It shouldn't be a problem. And then I put the 4 screws back in. 4 screws back here. You really can't see them, but they're up in there. No big deal putting this back together. I mean, once you got it off, it's nothing replacing the light. It's getting this mother from hell spoiler off without breaking things. Luckily, I didn't break any of the pins. I still have to put it together, but I spent 4 to 5 hours removing this today. Hopefully the tips of this is going to help you. You've got to take off the pieces on the, this piece that goes on the edge here. These have to come off on both sides. And then you got to keep pressure on it, lifting up while someone's in there pinching those plastic pieces to let them free. That's going to be the key here to making this work. So labor intensive, super easy to put the new one back on. Of course, you got to trim that one edge of the light, but I'm only 2/3 of the way done. I still need to redo this. I spent half a day working on this. I'm going to take a break, but hopefully this will help people out and save them a lot of time, because nobody's posting stuff on this because it is a mother from hell. There's no way I could have videoed this trying to take this off, because it took, like I said, several hours. Of course, be careful when you're taking this off, lifting up and getting caught on here. You don't want to put too much pressure on it. It is fiberglass, thank God, so this does flex. But take your time with this. Disconnect your wires. The one heater wire for the actual and the defrost for the rear window has a disconnect, but it doesn't have a disconnect that goes to the damn glass. So I had to cut it, and then I'm going to put a clip back together here. But anyways, hopefully this helps you guys out. Again, keep an eye for the one edge getting hooked, being a sharp edge. Got to sand that down. The Dremel makes no time out of that. 1 minute, you're done, and it's working. So good luck, y'all. Let me know if this works, or if that's what you noticed with your rear light being a sharp edge on one side, most likely why those are getting ripped off. Of course, I got this part from Tasca online. It was $120, and then shipping another $15. But wish y'all best of luck. You're going to need it.